One of my best friends is a fix-it guy. I hate those guys. You know who I'm talking about? They can fix anything. He's fixed my leaking faucet and 3 hose bibs, all 3 running toilets. He's fixed several issues on my truck, replaced door locks, did a wiring job on the lights of my trailer, programmed a smart remote for my TV, and hung more than 1 big screen, installing electrical boxes so you can't see the wires. I hate him. He knows how to fix everything. And what he doesn't know, he types into YouTube and figures it out. The week before this taping, the guy fixed my wife's laptop, which I spent over 7 hours trying to fix. I think he did it in about 10 minutes, put it in safe mode, and voila, it was fine. But he'll be the first to tell you he can't work a deal to save his life. I think he's spiritually gifted at paying retail. He calls me to help him. It's one of the few things I'm pretty decent at. Whether it's buying a car or securing a deal on a hotel or getting new cell phones for all of our families, I just seem to be blessed at getting a good deal, especially when it's for the ministry. But here's where I blow it big time. I look at my buddy and I'm embarrassed at my own ineptness. It's kind of demoralizing to have him come fix the stuff at my house, especially the stuff the man of the house should be able to fix. So I look at him and I'm jealous. I'm kind of mad that he can do all that stuff and I can't. Galatians 6 tells us what that is. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions, then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. It's pride, friends. The scripture clearly says, don't compare yourself with others. The Galatian church may have been comparing themselves with other churches, with other believers. They may have been very gifted and strong in the Lord, but looking down on people who didn't measure up to them. I compare myself with my buddy, thinking I don't measure up to him. That's flat out pride, and it's sin, and I should be punched in the throat. I need to compare myself with myself. But there's a big difference between introspection and self-examination. When we're introspective, which a lot of religions promote, we can get kind of narcissistic as we gaze at each other's navels. True self-examination is more than evaluation. It's submitting every thought, attitude, and action to the will of God. Comparison reeks of notions of pride, and it's a joy robber. So Paul says, test yourself against yourself. How? Well, ask yourself, am I more loving and patient than I was a year ago? More generous? How am I gauging my own gentleness and self-control, my kindness and faithfulness? I'll tell you right now, I don't have this down. I am too busy comparing myself to my buddy. Now, I shared a bunch of failure from my life, but let me share a positive. Several years ago, my wife and I upped our tithe to God from 10% of our gross to 11% of our gross income. We continued to give more and more generously until we arrived at 15% of our gross income. Some would say that's great. Others would say we're just starting. Rick Warren of Saddleback reverse tithes. He gives 90% to God and lives on 10%. Man, I wish I could be like that. There I go again, comparing. What my wife and I did for several years was compare ourselves with ourselves, and it was great to grow together in generosity. We probably need to reevaluate that again. But where do you struggle with comparison? Do you have a pride issue? Is there a place you could do some self-examination and grow in your relationship with God, where you submit every thought, attitude, and action to God? And if you're willing, let us know in the comments below, or send us a prayer request by clicking the appropriate button. Regardless, don't lose your joy, folks. And don't be guilty of pride like me.